You see her first. You think she's a boy, someone's little brother. Tiny little thing, all duck fuzz hair and hand-me-down clothes 2 sizes too big. It's not until it's your turn to get the drinks in and she elbows in beside you, then cranes up on tiptoes over the bar, that you realise your mistake. How's the weather up there, big man? She cracks a laugh around a pink bubble of gum, then treats you to a wink. The laugh you offer in return isn't anywhere near as sincere as you'd like it to be, because now your brain's clocking overtime trying to figure out an escape route, one that preferably doesn't involve the tired old cliché, I already have a girlfriend. You're a terrible liar. She surprises you, however, nudges you in the bicep when all of your drinks arrive, then hooks a firm hand round your neck and pulls you down until your ear meets her mouth. My mate fancies the ass of your mate. Thank fuck. Which one? The one with the hair. Hair. You're not sure why your mouth feels a bit dry as you croak out. Who? Elvis? Fuck knows, I don't know his name, do I? She turns to point through the crowd at your table. That one, in the corner there, in the leopard print, Mark Bolan reincarnated. Oh, no. Something washes over you that feels a bit like relief. Here, Specs. She lets you go, gestures over the creature that's all lavender hair and lime green cat eye glasses and gigantic boobs she could probably give you a concussion with. You cringe, perhaps mildly fear for Noel's life. Then Tiny Girl slots her arm in yours before beaming a grin. Come on, sweet cheeks. Are you going to introduce us then, or what? You know before he does. Not that it's any surprise, really. Elvis is as thick as fuck on a good day. Never mind 5 pints in on a Friday night. He's never exactly been the sharpest knife in the drawer. But you know, somehow, instinctively. Whether it's the hand creeping onto Elvis's thigh or the bubblegum laugh, you're not sure. But Matty likes him. Really likes him. And you can't quite figure out why the knowledge makes your heart feel a bit sore. She's not bad, is she? Elvis says later on when he's outside, leaning against the pub wall with a cigarette, and you're kicking an abandoned football around the empty space Noel should be. She's alright. You're no good at this. You never have been. You've no idea what makes a girl fuckable. Think I've got a chance? Probably. Definitely. I don't know. I don't know if she's interested or if I'm just pissed. He tips his chin up, fills the air with lazy smoke rings overhead. The pop collar of his leather jacket scuffs the stone and you beat back the urge to reach out and refold it. Busy yourself with kicking the ball against the wall instead. What's the difference? Elvis huffs a laugh. Not a lot. You manage a smile, shoulder up against him. Ignore the hollow feeling in your chest. Ask her for a phone number. It's the best advice you can give. He considers a while. You cherish the moments. Nobody else gets to witness Elvis trying to be brave. Yeah, he eventually says. Yeah, I think I will. Cheers, mate. You're the one who makes it happen. You stumble back to the student digs with Elvis half slung over one shoulder and singing at the top of his lungs. Noel's well gone. Has been for hours. You think he's with Specs. Kind of hope so too. But to be quite honest, you don't really have a clue. He could be anywhere. Could be tied up naked to a drainpipe for all you know. You can have Noel's bed, Elvis slurs at you when he finally manages to get his key in the lock without dropping it for the 13th time. Can't see him coming back. I'll pass, you tell him, when a glance into Noel's leopard-printed abode makes you feel like you need a bleach bath. I'll sleep on the couch. In the kitchen, Elvis pours you both another drink. Suit yourself. What's the deal with Matty then? You get her number? You wait until you both sat down in the jumble of second-hand furniture, battered guitars and pieced together oddities of drum kit that passes for a living room before you ask. Elvis glances at his phone on the coffee table. Kind of gives you a smirk and a half-coy shrug. It makes him look oddly innocent, you think. Like back when you were both just kids and you found out about his first crush. Josie Greenwood. All dark hair and even darker eyes and skin as rich as winter molasses. You remember her well. You remember every one of Elvis's crushes. And it's a somewhat bitter memory, a sour reminder of just how much the two of you have grown up. Yeah, I don't know though. I don't think I'll ever ring her. She was really drunk. Mate, she practically got you in a headlock and kissed you before we left. I think she deserves at least a text. I don't know. She'll probably regret that when she sobers up. You spend another 10 minutes trying to convince him that he's worth something before giving up. Later, he falls asleep on the couch, your couch, as the sun begins to wake up. You brave a trip into Noel's room to strip the fairy blankets from his bed so Elvis doesn't get cold. Then you flip through Elvis's phone and fire off a quick text to Matty before climbing into your mate's bed. Hey, it was really nice meeting you tonight. Fancy doing something together soon? Let me know. You're the one who has to pick him up. Morning after Elvis's first date with Matty and your idol outside some middle-class townhouse with a freshly mown lawn and kitschy little yard ornaments. His text hadn't given you much to go on. Just a standard, if I give you a £5, will you come take us home? An address you've never seen before. You don't know if he's bailing on her. You hope not. You've spun so many emergency, sick mother, father, sister, dog, hamster tales for him that you're running out of people to kill off. Not to mention you're kinda worried karma might come bite you in the arse. It's a relief then when the front door of the house opens and Elvis doesn't come hurtling out like a bank robber looking for his getaway car. Instead, you're the sole audience member to a show of smooching and giggling and cutesy cuddling, and it just makes you want to smash your face into the steering wheel so the image of Elvis scooping her right up into his arms doesn't get stuck in your head. It's only the aggressive beep of your car horn that finally gets him to disengage. Good night, you ask, when he finally manages to pry himself away from her long enough to climb into your car. He reaches over, tucks a £5 note into the collar of your turtleneck, then gives the top of your head a patronising pat. First class. It smells floral instead of leathery, and it makes all the hair on the back of your arms stand up. You could have just caught the bus, you know. It is a real thing, public transport. It does exist. It's not just some fantasy thing people make up. He messes with your radio, winds down his window, gets out his cigarettes, puts his feet on the dash and lights up. I know. You breathe out through your nose. Oh, I know you do. But of course it's much easier and cheaper for you to just take chauffeur Dom, right? A cigarette jammed into your mouth, Elvis's head against your shoulder, his raw, tired laugh. Mate, I love you. Shut up. You should be happy. Elvis is happy. For the first time in what feels like years, his smiles now reach his eyes, and there's sincerity in his laugh. For the first time what feels like years, he walks with his head up. For the first time what feels like years, he's writing music again. And for the first time in his life, he writes a love song. Come over, he tells you, down the phone at 7 o'clock one Wednesday evening. You try to dissuade him. You've been home from work so briefly that he's still walking around in a cloud of motor oil and exhaust fumes, and your mum's following you about the house spraying air freshener. But he insists he has something to show you, and he sounds oddly excited in just the right way to pique your interest, so you go. He's sitting on the floor of his living room when you arrive, surrounded by balls of crumpled paper and nursing the acoustic guitar that's seen more than its own fair share of artistic tantrums and has the scars to prove it. Sit down, he tells you, gesturing to the floor before you even have a chance to speak. You do as he says. You always have. Take a relatively clear spot on the carpet, then lean back against the wall. You notice he's wearing his glasses, and you realise it's been years since he entertained those too. I wrote something. He pauses for your response. Oh yeah? Yeah. It's about Matty. When he plays, he doesn't look at you. When he plays, he closes his eyes and you're glad. Because then it's just Elvis and the guitar and some clumsily sung words, and it's unrehearsed and raw and inelegant and beautiful. C. Babe. A.G. You're too good for me. C. Darling. A.G. You're where I always want to be. C. And honey. A.G. I hope you never have to see. E. The dark things inside of me. And when he finishes, it takes you a moment to become aware of the fact that you close your eyes too. Because you should be happy. For him. For her. You really should. But you're not. You're not because you wish Elvis's first love song had been written about you. You're the first person he tells. And to make the whole scenario even more prominent, he comes to you. That's how you know it's something serious. That's how you know there's something incredibly wrong. When a taxi pulls up outside your house and something bizarrely Elvis-shaped climbs out. He's all red-rimmed eyes and red-rimmed nose, but at first he doesn't want to talk. Just throws himself down across the width of your bed and fills up your room with smoke. You play a few records, sit down next to him with your bass guitar and jam out a few tunes. You know he'll tell you when he's ready. You know he just needs some time to pull together enough courage to face whatever's taken a bite-sized chunk out of his heart. Mate, he manages, at a length. Waits until you turn your head to look at him before he goes on. Smatty. The first awful thought that jumps into your head is definitely the one you shouldn't vocalise, but your mouth gets ahead of your brain and you instantly splutter out, "She's not pregnant, is she?" To which Elvis gives you a glare so deadly it makes your insides wither. Fuck no! Oh, well, thank God for that. Yeah, thank God for that. His sarcasm is so thick you could chew on it. No, you knobhead, she's got fucking cancer. Saying it out loud seems to either shock him or hurt him, and Elvis winces, presses the heels of his hands into his eyes. You're so stunned you don't know what to say. You're so stunned you rattle out the very first stupid thing your mind conjures up yet again. But it's treatable, right? If looks could kill, you'd be dead twice over by now. You take the curling of his top lip and the narrowing of his eyes as a no. Fuck's sake, she's dying, Dom. And his voice is small and cracks like glass, and the snarling mask falls away and he's just Elvis. You're Elvis. Hopeless and naive and a little bit scared. Said she wanted to tell me before I got too invested, so I could have the chance to back off. Fucking hell, mate. It's a bit too late for that. You don't see him much. His texts become intermittent. His phone calls white noise. 9 times out of 10 when you ring his number, he doesn't pick up. Even Noel, who he shares a flat with, admits that Elvis hardly ever comes home. It's hard to remember that with university and a new relationship with a dying girl, he's probably busy. It's hard not to worry when the last time you saw him there were still the last remnants of tears in his eyes. It's hard to eradicate that gnawing feeling that you never should have introduced the two of them in the first place. It had been a car crash waiting to happen. Considering how perceptive you seem to believe you are, you know you should have seen that one coming from the start. You start to miss the 3 a.m. texts for a chauffeur. You start to miss the dusky, heady scent of leather and alcohol in your car. The coarse bark of his laugh, the snap of his jaw, the busy hands that were never anywhere they were welcomed and always where they weren't. Without Elvis's interference, your life becomes easy and predictable and safe. Without Elvis's interference, your life becomes a bore. And you start to resent him. And you start to resent her. And when the feelings get so strong they keep you awake at night, you pull down the boxing gloves you hung up years ago, and spend your evenings down the gym, punching out your frustrations until every muscle in your body is sore. 3 months of radio silence before he texts. "Mate, come pick me up." To your surprise, your answer comes easily, as though he'd been waiting for this moment all along. No. You're not a bad person. You remind yourself of this all morning at work, repeating it in your head every time that little sharp mouth of guilt chews a little deeper into your soul. 15 years you've been Elvis's doormat. It's about time you went and wiped his feet all over someone else. You can't explain why then. When your boss announces that you have a visitor, your heart drops. It's him, you think. You know. But it's not. An eyesore of fur coat and sunglasses struts into the garage. The scent of hairspray and 1,000 different women's perfumes sticks in your throat. You groan. Please don't tell me you want driving somewhere as well, Noel. Me? Oh no. He leans against the hood of your client's car, pauses for dramatic effect, then goes on. I just stopped by to let you know I'm on my way to the police station to pick up your best mate. What? Elvis? For the moment it doesn't register. You drop a spanner in your overalls. Noel doesn't even give it to you gently, just fucks you right over. You can already tell from the jutted out hip and the jutted out chin he thinks it's all your fault. Yeah, Elvis. Had an argument with his lass yesterday, went out for a few drinks to drown his sorrows and ended up getting done for being drunk and disorderly. Punched a copper, spent the night locked up. Fucking hell. A hand instinctively finds your work table for support. And where were you? Noel snorts. Me? What about you? I'm not his dad, Noel. He tilts his head, peers at you over the rim of his Ray-Bans like he knows. Could have fooled me. You frown. What the hell's that supposed to mean? But Noel only lifts both hands in surrender. Listen, buddy, I don't know what happened between the two of you when you were teenagers, during all your little sleepovers and whatever else you got up to. We didn't get up to, you start, decide it's not even worth it and give up. But the truth of the matter is, you're the only wanker in the world that prick actually listens to, and I could really do with your help in sorting him out right now. He lets his words sit with you for a moment, simmering before adding, softly, like he's actually pretending to give a shit for once. He really needs you, Dom. It's not convincing. It wouldn't even be a very good excuse even if it was true. But your fingers find your keys anyway, and before you realise what you're doing, you're tossing them at Noel. Go start my car. You remember Elvis's first run-in with the police. 9 years old, Christmas time, snowflakes coming down the size of golf balls. He stands on your doorstep bundled up in what appears to be every single piece of clothing he owns. Stuffed school backpack slung over one shoulder, eyes half downcast, half glaring. Even with his cheeks tinged pink from the cold, you can tell he's been crying. I came to say goodbye. And when you don't answer fast enough because you're still trying to work out what he means, he adds gloomily, I'm running away. You know why. You don't need to ask. His mum and dad are going through a messy divorce while still living under the same roof, and Elvis doesn't have any brothers or sisters to turn to. Still, you think it's a pretty stupid idea to tell people that you're running away. Not unless you want them to stop you. And you're quite sure Elvis doesn't want to be stopped. Not from the 60 layers of clothes he's gone through the trouble of squeezing into anyway. You don't think he has any intention of taking them off anytime soon. And it's then you realise, slowly, stupidly, that he hasn't come by your house to say goodbye at all. He's come because he wants you to run away too. My mum's probably worried about me, you say, later on, when the two of you sit hunched together in a closed shop doorway in the dark, blowing on your fingers to chase away the cold. Your mum's probably worried about you as well. And your dad. Elvis stuffs crisps into his mouth and leans into you. Fuck 'em, he growls. Fuck 'em all. You end up spending the night under the branches of the big Christmas tree in the city centre, where it's a little bit sheltered and a little bit warm, and the fairy lights paint twinkling freckles across Elvis's nose. In the early hours of the morning, you're accidentally stumbled upon by a policeman doing his rounds. Elvis punches a copper then, too. You're the glue that holds everything together. You've always known that. And it's tiring being Dominic Wood. It's tiring trying to keep Elvis's life from falling apart. You pick him up at the station and take him home. Issue apologies on his behalf to the policeman he assaulted, to Matty, to Noel. I'm sorry, I should have been there, I didn't know. You gather in the kitchen with Noel and Matty as Elvis rides out the worst hangover in history with his head halfway down the loo. Matty hauls herself up to sit on the countertop next to you. It's the only way she can get anywhere near eye level. It's not your fault that Ellie's a knob. Noel raises a sceptical eyebrow, gives you a look. You know exactly what he's thinking because you have the same thought. It is your fault. You're his enabler. You always have been. Elvis wouldn't have grown up like this if it hadn't been for you. From the bathroom comes the sound of heaving, then coughing, then groaning, and what one might misinterpret to be a sob. All three of you cringe. All three of you find a shit ton of interest in looking at the floor. Noel's the first to glance back up. At least he's paying for it. Maybe it'll do him some good. You doubt it. You've witnessed Elvis's horror show hangovers before. Cleaned up after all of them too. Elvis never learns. I'll stay the night, you offer. Keep an eye on him so Matty can go home and you can get some sleep. It's the least I can do. Make sure he's alright. Matty's tiny hand on your shoulder, her lips on your cheek. You're a good mate, Dom. You can tell she actually means it too. I wish I had a friend like you. And you don't know why it is, but in that moment you realise something's changed. You don't resent her anymore. You throw an arm around her shoulders, give her a sidelong hug. Don't need to wish, you tell her. You already do.